Hello, my name is Noah and welcome to this very chaotic Stet studio vlog. So this is the lead up to my holiday, well it's not even really the lead up, it's my first holiday markets in a couple hours. So this is the holiday market vlog, I suppose. Today is November 30th and I'm going to be vending at the Queer Craft Bazaar here in Pittsburgh. It's one of my favorite events to do. They're in a new location this time. It is a location I believe that I've been to before for other markets, so I know what to expect. It is a warehouse. It will be cold. There's no heating. There's next to no service, at least in my experience. I suppose that depends on your carrier and all of that. So I'm gonna need to layer up and take probably a thermos of tea with me. I'm finishing packing. I'm a little bit behind. I've had some community commitments that I made that I probably maybe stretched myself a little too thin, but I was very glad to do all of them, so I'm not complaining. It's just a little chaotic. I'm working on printing out some last minute signs, and of course my printer decided, oh, we're not gonna print any red ink, which I swear happens every time I'm getting ready for market. Something's wrong with my printer. It just likes to test me, but I think I got it fixed. We'll go check that in a minute. I just opened the stickers here. I'll show you. These stickers for my ancestor cards. This is the best lighting in this room. I really love them. The only problem is they don't peel. Let's see if I can... Yeah, they don't peel. So I'm gonna have to take an X-Acto knife with me or something to the market and, you know, cut them free. These are supposed to be used for packaging. They're not products, so they will be usable, hopefully. Because I don't have time to order new ones. I am going to email them on Monday. I have so many emails I need to send on Monday, but I'm going to email the company on Monday and be like, hey, can I get some money back? We'll see how hard it is for me to get these to a usable state. I might ask them to reprint them, but I really, really don't like waste. So I might not. We'll see. And in the future, I might just go with a different company. I really have enjoyed this company's die cut stickers. They've always been great and I've absolutely loved them. This is the first time I've had a bad experience with them, but this is a different type of sticker than I normally get. So we'll see. Let's go see how the signs turned out. All right, so these were the first ones I printed. You can see I tried to reuse a piece of paper and I put the paper in wrong, but also there's no red in either of these. So I cleaned the printer, did a report. Yeah, these guys look perfect and awesome. I was able to reuse these misprinted cards, so I'm going to cut these guys out and at the very least glue this one to a piece of cardstock, or not cardstock, chipboard. This is cardstock. So let's do that real quick and we'll move on. I was going to use my, I have a paper cutter, one of those slidey ones, but I can't find it and I don't have time to be digging around in the disaster area that is my office. So we will worry about that another time and I'll just do my best with scissors. Look at this mess. Half this stuff isn't even going with us. This is not. Camera case. I have just kind of been piling things in here since, I don't know, October probably. This is going, but it needs a home. At the top. These are going, but they need to be stacked differently. I would certainly hope the pride flags are ready anyways. Alright. All sorts of stuff in there. So my wonderful girlfriend, who's going to be packing the cars shortly, told me that she was getting ready to do so. Oh, Jesus. So I was like, well, I better get this stuff ready. So we're gonna squish those down in there. We need these guys, because we haven't got them strung on there yet. This could go in here. This I'm gonna put in the other room for now. Alright, what else? What else? This can probably be closed. Moved out of the way. Alright, and then we've got greeting cards. This bunch we here it is. Thing I was looking for earlier. So I've got all these pride flags. I'm trying to decide how I want to do this. I need to not be frantic because being frantic won't help. We've got time. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this box. This will hold a lot of the new stuff that we've got. Put all of the pride flags in here. I'll get the ones that I already put away. I've got a few of the little ones left that I used to make. I don't think I'll have any of those left in the new year, so if you're interested in them, now would be the time to grab one off my website. This vlog probably isn't going out until the end of the year, or the new year rather, so who knows. That in here. That. I've got like 30 flags that need sticks. That's a good start. Let's put these in on top, because they're technically in this box over here, but at the same time, like, not really in it, they're just kind of there. Don't need to light because this is a daytime market. These we need to pack. This one as well. And then I can set this stuff in on top. And there's still some room on the side for things. This is like the most precarious place to put this. This guy can go in here. Not a good home for him, but it's good enough. Trying to remember what we have space for at this market, because all of these markets have different space requirements, especially this time of year. They're trying to bring in as many people as possible, and space can be very limited. All right, so I think that some of these can fit, right? Maybe. Yeah, there we go. And this one can stay on top, maybe. Yeah. Those are for hanging the pride flags. We're trying something new with that. And then we've got this thing, which is I think a dish rack maybe. Again, got it at IKEA for like $5. We're gonna use it to hold up the prints, because my main print holding up method, that's the best way I can think of to phrase it, is stringing like a clothesline almost between the legs of my tent, because I have one of those like easy up tents. And we can't do that inside, because you can't put a tent up inside. So that's going to be one way to do that. All right, I think this is full. Let me find the lid. Oh, it's underneath the box that this is sitting on top of. Lovely. There we go. This will go out in the hallway so my girlfriend knows that it's ready. Now we're going to do the greeting cards. Let's see here. Are there any I want to take out? We don't need that. I don't think there are any I want to take out. The last market I did was like a Halloween market. I do have a few Halloween cards, but they're not explicitly Halloween. They're my rip to your boobs and congrats on your boobs cards. So like, those work all year round. Although I do have, I don't even know if this card's in my shop yet. This is an empty one, we can use that. This one, the I'll Hallow Your Ween card, and then on the inside it says, until you boo. I think that might be a little too Halloween themed, so we'll save that. We have one that says Happy Fall, but it is still technically fall. So we'll keep that, and that. That one, that one. This one will come out. This one's candy corn themed. I love being candy corny with you. I think on the inside it says you make my life really sweet or something like that. I can't remember in the moment. There's that. And these can come out too. Alright, we got this one that says, hope your Yule is lit. I know the lighting in here is awful right now, but we're just gonna roll with it. We have some holiday cards, some Christmas cards, and some Yule cards. I don't know where the sample for this one is, but it's Happy Holidays. Let me see if I can find the sample for that one. No, it doesn't look. Wait, there it is. And then on the inside it says, hoping your holidays are ever so sweet. So those go together. Got this one, which says, make the Yuletide gay. We've got this one, which is my not Elf on the Shelf card. It's that special time of year when we model the surveillance state with our kids. Fun. I actually had a Christmas card that I was, well, not even a Christmas card, a winter holiday card. It didn't say Christmas on it explicitly, that I was working on that I really wanted to have ready for this market. But it is not ready, so hopefully I'll have it at my next market. This one that says, here's hoping your Yule has the perfect amount of goat in it. Because goats are an animal associated with the holiday Yule. that is all of the Christmas cards, holiday cards, winter cards we have. So I think that's everything. We've gone through, decide what ones we don't want. We added the extra ones. We've got some bags. Yeah, that's everything. All right, this one can be closed up. I'll find a lid for it. I say a lid because I have a couple of these exact same boxes and I'll use the same lid. So if I can just find one, that's good enough for now. Don't want to forget this. Forgot this at my last market because it was hidden under some stuff that I didn't take with me. Right, this guy can come out. Got cash. We've got extra business cards. Labels, the labels can come out, we don't need those things. Multiple square reader adapter types. I think for now that's everything we need in this. I want to make sure the square reader's charged. I mean, if it's not, we're kind of running out of time, but yeah, it's fully charged. We're good. I thought so. It usually holds charge pretty well in between markets. Alright. So that's this box. And the last things we have don't really go in a box. We've got this thing, which is a Winterfint, and it's a little Christmas tree thing that opens up, and we're gonna hang my Pride ornaments on it, which is something I need. I forgot about those. Good thing I remembered. Got some of my winter decorations for my thing as well. I do not have nearly as many ornaments as I thought I had ready, so we'll take the little thing this time instead of the big thing. We have 5 of these. Oh my god, they just look like black orbs. Well, you'll see them later. They're ornaments full of scraps of fabric, which look like pride flags. They're pretty cute. Hello. Okay, so today is December 2nd, I believe. Yes, it's Tuesday, December 2nd. And yesterday was a really stressful day for me. I honestly didn't get much, if any, work done towards the markets that I am going to have this weekend and next weekend. The one this weekend being the one of the biggest concern, not only because it is the one that's coming the soonest, but also it is the largest. And I also am being sponsored by a group here in Pittsburgh called Qberg, and I don't want to let them down since they paid for my table and they're going to be doing an interview with me at some point this week and all that stuff. So like, I just want to have a good showing. The next level will be the final level, which is what we want. Alright, we're gonna let this dry. Cards are currently printing. I'm gonna go see if I can find some scrap watercolor paper to paint the inside design. Printer's still going, everything's working alright. This is a scrap piece of watercolor paper that I used. I was doing a sketch last year, or inking, of a house portrait I was working on. I ended up needing to use a different paper for the final, like for the actual inking. I didn't like how it was turning out. Obviously you can see the ink smeared a bunch, and that's no good. I've just been kind of using this bit by bit for little things. I need to look up a reference for a Christmas, like, tree light. We're doing one of the incandescent ones. We don't do the gross LED ones. I just want to see a picture. I don't want to buy them from you. Let me see if I can find something better, because I don't want to be on Wayfair's website. How about we add close-up? No, I just want to look at the picture. I don't want to go to homedepot.com. Good lord. Gotta figure out where I'm putting this. I suppose I could do it on the back. The back isn't textured the same, which is why you tend to only use one side of the paper with watercolor paper, but I think if I put it here, this might be alright. And then, obviously, when I scan it into the computer, I'll erase all of the stuff around it. The first step's really simple. We're just gonna add the lighting. And they're gonna be quote-unquote white lights, so it's just gonna be very slightly yellowy. So, like, even that much yellow is too much. We're gonna wash the brush off, so it's just water. And we're gonna spread it out. I want it to be, like, look like it's glowing, so this is sort of the background glow. Alright, we'll let that dry. Of course, the time I attempt to do it on camera, it gets all wrinkly. Of course, that one's crooked. Luckily, you can peel them off relatively easily. Try and match it up with that line there and get it as centered as possible. Oh, I don't know how that looks either. Hold on. Okay, I fixed it. Unfortunately, it appears the reason I was struggling so much is because the camera is right where it is. So I'm gonna do the last however many of these I have, like 5-ish off screen, and then meet back up with you. I've got here about 40 of these guys, I think. Let's see if we can stack them nicely. And I am going to be taking all of these with me to the Handmade Arcade, which is the big market this weekend that I was talking about. I actually have somewhere, I think it's still on my channel, a video when I, like a vlog of when I went to the Handmade Arcade as a shopper. So this is what the outside looks like. They're in little glassine bags, and you might wonder why I did it so that all the seams are on the front. Well, because when I was at my market on Sunday, I noticed people would pick this up and then immediately flip it over to look at the back. So I have them in here so that you can read the back, which has, you know, this is the explanation card that goes with the portraits that I have painted. This explains what this is, as does the sticker more briefly. It says, Ancestor Cards includes the portraits of 10 trans ancestors and their stories with an introduction card. And this is the introduction card. So I wanted it to be so that when somebody picks it up and inevitably flips it over, it's easier to read than if all the thicker layers of the, like, flaps were in the way. Also, this sticker label that I made, I actually painted the color here. It's kind of hard to see in this lighting, but it is like a light cream color. And then the trans pride flag at the bottom, I also hand painted. I really want as much of my artwork and branding to be done with physical media as possible. I just feel like it really embraces the medium that a lot of my art is in, so you know what you're getting based on the packaging and the branding. You don't come into it expecting something different. And I just like the way it looks, which helps. I'm going to keep printing out some cards. I think the card that I'm painting right now is probably dry enough for me to do the next layer. I'll go look at that, I'll take you with me, but yeah, we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing right now. Okay, that is like bone dry, which is nice. It's because it's so dry in this house. We're gonna do it, I think, like this. I don't want to use any sort of like ink line work for this because I didn't use any on the front. I want it to match, although I feel like it'd be a lot easier to do this if I had some line work, but it's okay. Putting down the layer of green, and I'm using the same green. I hate to say it, but I think that might be too long proportionally. That's okay, I can probably fix that digitally. And then we need the lights. All right, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this down. And we don't wanna rub it too much because we want the lighting to stay. So now we're gonna do just a little bit of those cords. There's one in and one out, and there's one that twists around. Or is there 3 of them total? Yeah, there's 2 that twist around separately. Okay. Didn't think I would be really thinking about how this works this much. But I like things to be accurate if at all possible. Fun fact about me though, when I was in middle school, there was a while I really wanted to be an electrician because I thought electrical circuits were just the coolest thing. And I mean, the trades are pretty awesome. That could have been a viable life path for me, and that could have been a completely different way of living my life. But I mean, that would have been cool. But here I am now as an artist who doesn't really remember or understand how electrical circuits work anymore. Alright, that's not perfect, but it gives you the general idea. I'm gonna use this thick brush this time. I like the bristles of this better. It's very, very soft. We're not gonna add like another layer yet. It's more so just adding some texture to try and mimic these other ones better. And then what I'm doing for the lights on this, I am breaking a cardinal rule of watercolor, and I'll be using white paint, which I don't usually do. I like the whole using the white of the paper thing, but that just won't work here. This will give some subtlety to the layers of the board. So hopefully you can tell maybe just a tiny bit better that there's 3 different chords there, not just a giant blob. So there's a palette here. By palette I mean piece of plastic. I'm not mixing this on the painting. I realized that was probably slightly scary. But anyways, I just got done doing a phone interview with somebody from Qberg, which is a queer magazine, news source, entertainment, informational company. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and pick things up at the same time, and it's not going well. Anyways, I just got off the phone with a reporter from Qberg, and they did a bit of a feature on me, artist feature. Before I get any further, I'm going to show you the picture that is my reference. This is also a good chance for me to remember to actually pull it up. This is actually a tree I saw downtown yesterday morning. Oh yeah, it looks brilliant recording the phone screen, but you get the idea. That's kind of what I want to do here. They're the white lights, more of a yellow than anything, but I don't want them to look super yellowy, so I mixed some white watercolor, Cinnaval Sins, with a tiny bit of yellow. And now I am dotting it on. And I am going to create like a sort of like glow effect around the whole tree once I've got this part done, but this is what I'm working on right now. It was definitely interesting to do an interview like that. It's the first time I've done anything like that actually no, it's the second time I've done something like that, but the first article I don't think was ever published. It was interesting, it was fun, I love to yap, so there's always something I can be talking about. I am a weird autistic person, so I'm sure some of the answers that I gave were not something that the reporter was expecting, but that's fine. Not in a bad way, but maybe they're like, tell us something about your products or about your art, and I misunderstood in what way they meant. Am I supposed to be talking about how they're made, or what inspires me, that sort of thing. I've come to the point where I've realized that a lot of the time it is okay to not know exactly what they're talking about, and even if you don't give the exact answer they're expecting, or the type of answer they're expecting, it's fine. It does make me feel a little weird sometimes though. That looks pretty good in terms of Christmas lights. And then I'm gonna rinse this brush out and the big brush, and then we're gonna do the same sort of thing that we did for the light bulb. Actually, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna rinse the brush back out because I started to put paint on it. We're gonna do this where we put water down so that it can bleed out on its own and look more natural. And we're gonna use just the straight yellow water down, no white. We won't go underneath the tree. We'll just go around the top and the sides. And I want this to kind of look like it doesn't have to be a Christmas tree, but I'm not silly enough to be like, oh, it's a holiday tree. I know that it's still a very culturally Christian icon, but I don't want it to say Christmas or, you know, be like, this is a Christmas tree. I mean, the phrase merry and bright is very, very Christmassy to begin with, so. All right, so now that we've wetted it down, I'm gonna let it dry for a few seconds, then I'll put the yellow paint on it. I made a point to use the warm yellow rather than the really cool yellow. I felt like that might not stand out from the tree as well. But I'm going to put this paint along the edges so as it fans out it becomes lighter, and it will only go where there's water. So it's not going to bleed back into the tree unless I accidentally touch the wrong spot with my paintbrush, which I have done. I don't want it to be super orangey or super golden. I just want it to read as light. And then I'm gonna rinse the paintbrush out, scrape off some of the extra water, and then just kind of suck that up. I think that looks good. It could go wider, but I don't want it to be too wide. I don't want it to kind of mess with the tree. All right, I think I'm gonna let everything dry, and then I might go over some of the lights with a second layer of the white yellow, just to strengthen that color. I can see the green kind of coming through in a few spots. All right, I'm gonna stop touching it or I'm gonna overwork it. Okay, so this is my first time checking in today, and I feel like it might be my only time checking in. It's Wednesday. I have been busy all day, I think. Today has been such a weird day, even weirder than yesterday. I don't know if I mentioned yesterday, but I was supposed to be working my other job yesterday, but our car they were trying to, well, we took it in to get it inspected, and then it failed the inspection and it needed work done on it, so they were trying to do that work yesterday, but because of the snow they weren't able to get it done quickly. So I was supposed to be working yesterday, but since I didn't have a car I couldn't work, etc. So I was here doing stuff yesterday, and it was a kind of nice snow day, but again I was supposed to be working, so that threw me off. And I don't do well when my routine deviates from what I'm expecting, and also not having my car and not knowing when we were going to be able to get it back, because it's the only car for the household. But this morning, my girlfriend was able to ride the bus to work, and I was supposed to work today too, but I just kind of, you know, I talked with my client and was like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come. I will let you know if I'm able to or if I can come later, and I wasn't able to get my car until so late in the day that there was really no point in me going to work with them, so I will see them next week. But it felt like a lot of work to get my car back, and when I finally was able to go, I had to ride the bus, but the closest bus stop to the garage was like a mile away, so I had to walk through the city, which was fine. It is cold out, but it wasn't that bad. But anyways, long story short, it's been a busy day. I've gotten some work done. I finished cutting out fabric for these trans pride flags and sewed them together before lunch, and now I'm ironing them, so I'll be able to cut their backs out and stuff. I just wanted to get them ironed now so I could trim them up when I'm cutting out the backs. My paper came in the mail. That was another thing I was struggling with because I didn't know when the paper was going to come. I didn't have enough to make more greeting cards, and that's one of my biggest products, or my biggest type of product, so I needed that. Oh, it's the mailman, her mail carrier, excuse me. I paid for rush shipping, and it did get here while I was out getting the car, so when I got back I was able to start printing cards, and that's what's happening right now. You can probably hear it in the background. I have a card printing. Alright, these are flat. That's what I want. These are so cute. I love how they turned out. I don't know if you can see them at all. I've got you at like the worst angle. We've got this sort of clown core one. It's upside down. Silly, goofy clown. Sort of balloon animals in the middle. And we've got our like Victorian Gothic, perhaps. Grandma core, Gothic grandma, I don't know. But yeah, I really like this bear fabric, and I think this is probably the final flag I'll be able to get out of it. It was something I got at a fabric swap, and as soon as I saw it, I knew that it needed to turn into some really cute grandma-y trans pride flags. And we've got space. Obviously the blue's kind of dark, but you get the idea. And we've just got really vibrant. I like to do more plain ones as well. And then we've got a cutesy pastel one here. Alright, so here is the outside of my new Christmas card design. You saw me working on it. That's what it looks like printed. And I haven't folded the card yet, but this is what the inside looks like. and I think it turned out really great. So once those are printed, I'm probably going to let them sit, and then later this evening before bed I will fold them. I like to let them sit for a little bit because if you don't, the ink might smudge while you're handling them if your hands are warm, and my hands tend to be warm. And then there's this, which was a little sign I made to put on top of the folding wooden tree-shaped rack. So it's the star at the top of the tree, and that's where all of the ornaments that I make will be. I can show you one of those. I made another one last night. Doesn't have its lid back on yet because I'm looking for some extra flag labels that I use to brand these. But so this is the Trans Pride flag out of fabric scraps, and it's just kind of cute and whimsical and cottagecore, and it's a fun way to use up fabric scraps from pride flags. That's what they look like. These are kind of big. I have some smaller ones as well. I really like everything to be secondhand or recycled or, you know, as sustainable as possible. So I only use secondhand items typically for the ornaments. Like I use actual fabric scraps. I don't cut up the fabric myself. I use leftover tags for the branding, and the glass or plastic. Some of the ones I have are plastic, but they're mostly glass. Like baubles are all secondhand. Like maybe the first set I made, they were something I already had from a couple years ago. These I got at a thrift store. I have another set in the other room that I'm going to fill up that I got on eBay. So yeah, I don't know. I really like that aspect of it because I think that's something that we should care about, where our decorations are coming from. And, you know, the fact that we're not generating more waste by celebrating and decorating, I don't think we need to do that to be able to decorate. So yeah. And this morning, when the light was pretty good around 11, I was able to get some pictures taken of myself using the self-timer and this camera in the other room in my recording studio, as I call it. So pictures of myself. They wanted a picture of like my typical market booth setup as well as some other product images, and I gave them that. So that's all done. Right now I'm gonna keep printing cards and finish up the pride flags, and then after the pride flags are done, I think the next thing I'll do is make more ornaments, more baubles, and then after that I'll cut up these guys. I've got a bunch of these little inserts that go in the back of my cards. It says on the inside this card is blank, or you can cross out blank and it says, and you write the message, and then there's a spot for the SKU if I want it, stock keeping unit. So this just shows like what the inside of the card says, or if it says nothing. So I can keep the cards in those compostable plastic sleeves. I guess you wouldn't call them plastic. I don't know, the compostable sleeves that I put them in without it being inconvenient because you can't open up the card. I would like to maybe eventually make it so that the message is typed on there so I don't have to handwrite all of it, but right now I'm still handwriting them. But my girlfriend will be willing to stuff all of the envelopes and the cards and everything in probably tomorrow because she's working from home tomorrow. And I will be at work, my other job, now that I have the car back. But they also, the paper people, sent me some goodies. They sent me a little notepad. I love notepads. The last one I had, this paper is like fancy. I know they're probably trying to show off like a sample or something, but like this is, in my opinion, way too fancy for a notepad. But the last one I had, the backing fell off the actual paper, so that'll be nice. And they gave me these envelopes that have little foil embossed snowflakes on them. So that's really nice. I don't know when I'll use them because I do send cards around the holiday period, but I send the cards I make and they're 5x7, so they're not gonna fit in there. So I don't know what I'll do with these, but they're really cute, and I don't know, maybe I'll just write some people some letters rather than cards. We'll see. And yeah, I think that's us caught up. I don't have a whole lot else to say. Maybe I'll record myself making the ornaments so that you can see how that goes. That's pretty easy. Thanks for catching up with me real quick. I feel a lot better now that I have my car back and I'm not waiting and worrying on that. And I have paper so I can make more greeting cards. And I think everything I need to do for the interview is done. And the new card design that I was so desperate to get made is being printed right now, and that's really exciting for me. So yeah, it's just going to be a lot of like folding and creasing and stuff. I have a bunch of zines printed out that I'm going to need to fold and crease and staple and trim and all that too. Another win for today, I found these little flag tags. I was like crashing out over them last night. I couldn't find them. That's what they look like, and then they have on the back, well, it's upside down in my hand because you would flip it up if it was sewn on a flag. Patchwork Pride 2023, handmade with reclaimed fabrics, hand washed dry flat. but I can put this in the side of the little bobble and then you can see the logo. So yeah, that's what I wanted to use these leftover ones for. I couldn't find them last night and I was freaking out, but it's okay. Found them now. So I am folding the cards now. I have a machine now I got with money from a grant in 2024 that scores the cards. It's for me. I used to have to do that myself. Yeah, I just have to like finish the crease, like finish folding it. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm getting a bunch of these creased so I can trim them then with the grant money. That was another thing I wanted to get. I had a really basic guillotine that I bought off of Amazon. Battery died, so I'm gonna finish these up real quick because I need to get ready to go to work. Now that I have my car back, I can finally do that again, which is great. But anyways, what was I saying? So after this, I'm going to trim these down to 5x7 using my guillotine. And that was another thing I got with the grant money in 2023. I mean, it was 2024 by the time I got the money, but I won it in 2023 technically. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with this. Oh yeah, I had a guillotine that I bought off of, I don't know, the place that sounds like the name of a river that I don't like. I don't know. Amazon. It was fine. It worked really well, except for the fact that it just worked on shearing pressure. There was no like blade to it, so you couldn't cut a lot at one time, and anything that thick like cardstock it struggled with a bit, and I wanted the edges to be cleaner, and I wanted to be able to cut more at one time. And I could, well, maybe not this whole stack of cards I got here, but like, I might be able to split it into two and then do it with the heavy-duty guillotine I have now.
Several hours later.
Oh, there's a pin in there. Okay. Okay, so here we are. It is, what, like 9 o'clock-ish? Yeah, 9 o'clock-ish. 9:04. And I have just finished getting all of my greeting cards cut out, like folded and then trimmed and all of that. My girlfriend is being amazing and putting them with their envelopes in compostable plastic sleeves. And I thought I'd give you a little bit of update of how today went. When last we spoke, I was starting the card folding and cutting and all of that and getting that ready and telling you about that. And then and this was on camera, but of course I got rid of it, don't worry, you haven't seen it and you won't, cut my finger on the guillotine cutter. I will keep it vague so it's not gross, but I basically brushed my finger up against the blade and that was enough to do some damage. So at first I didn't think it was that bad, so I just hollered for my girlfriend to help me to bring some paper towels upstairs because there weren't any in the bathroom, of course. I think that might be enough blue. And she came upstairs to help me. My girlfriend was a lifeguard for about a decade, so she has a lot of first aid experience. I have some, but not nearly as much as her, but like, she's very good in a medical emergency. She's a good person to have around. So that was nice. She helped me, and at first I was like, oh, it'll be okay. We've wrapped it up in gauze. We've got pressure on it. It's still bleeding, but like, it'll be okay. I really, really don't want to go to the emergency room or the urgent care or anything. I've got work to do today because I was finally able to go back to work. I was ready. I was excited. I was, gonna do my thing. And she was like, I don't know. I'm like, well, let's give it a few minutes. I really need to go to my other job. I really, I don't want to miss work. I've missed every day so far this week because of the car. But it kept bleeding through the gauze. So we went to the urgent care and they took excellent care of me. And like I said, I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but I did not get to go to work today. It was decided that there's too high of a risk of me damaging my finger by, like, you know, just jostling the forming scab and reopening it and all of that. So I did not go to work today, but I did have a doctor's note to email to my boss, because I was like, I know at this point I wouldn't believe me either. So yeah, that's what my day has been like. This camera is like really yellow. Hold on, let me see if I can fix the lighting. Okay, that's a little more color accurate. There we go. The lighting is very yellow in this room, and the lights are kind of like specific. It's hard to, like, it's a specific type of light. You can't just pop a new one in there, so the lighting's not great in here. All right, there's that. So after 2.5 hours at the urgent center, which if you're not from America or you're not familiar with what an urgent care center is, it's kind of like emergency room light. You go there if you have a serious enough injury or you're maybe ill and you need to see a doctor and you can't wait for an appointment, and it's not as expensive, typically speaking, as the emergency room because we have awful healthcare in the US. I was the only person, well, maybe not the only person, but one of the very few people at this urgent care center today. So I got seen very quickly and got taken care of, and it was a whole rigmarole. Again, I'm not gonna, you know, share too many gory details, but it hurt like a lot, and I came home and I was exhausted, and, you know, took a little while for me to work up the nerve to go back to work because I needed to keep using the guillotine to keep trimming cards. But I did after I took a nap and watched some Bluey with my lunch, and I felt well enough to do it, and I had to grit my teeth the entire time because lizard brain is saying, danger, 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 you just hurt yourself on this. Took a little bit of convincing myself, but I did manage to do it, and I was safe. I didn't hurt myself. That's the first time I've ever hurt myself on that guillotine, and I've had it for multiple years. And I am careful, but, you know, accidents happen. I do my best to follow all the, like, safety recommendations, but stuff happens sometimes. And I am really grateful that my girlfriend was able to take me to the urgent care. She was home. She worked from home today. Geez, it feels like a whole different day at this point. Tomorrow is going to be fun with this bandage on my hand, and Saturday as well. But I have a helper with me, so that's good. And it will be okay. All of the cards are done. I'm really glad about that. I am making these baubles now, as you can see. And I have a bunch of these to do, so I don't know. Would you be interested in seeing a time lapse? I don't know why I'm asking you. Either I will do one and put it in, or I won't. To make these baubles, basically I just do what I've been doing, where I just kind of shove the scraps in there. I try to layer them aesthetically. If I'm able to, I will make sure that the color's facing out as much as possible. So, like, a lot of times a lot of modern fabric will be printed on one side and then white on the other. So I try to make sure the white printed side is not showing as much as possible, because who wants all of your pink scraps to look white? That's boring. But yeah, I do trans pride and rainbow pride. And this is the process. And I save all of my little scraps from making pride flags and even my personal projects, because I'm not going to use them for anything. They just go in these little vases that you can see here. This is the blue one. I just got these at the secondhand creative reuse store in Pittsburgh. It's been a fun project and a nice way to use up all of my scraps. I'm really bad about accidentally having my thumb on the button for that and it closing halfway through. I need to get better at that. My hand still hurts a lot, so I'm kind of slow, and working around the camera can be a little bit of a challenge, even though I do really enjoy filming this stuff, so I don't think I'm gonna do a time lapse. Okay, I've done a couple of these now. I've got all 4 of the big ones done, so we're gonna add one of these guys. Yeah, that. And we just kind of pop it in there. Bonus points if we can get it to a spot where it looks good. There, so that can just kind of sit in the back of the ornament. I don't know if it's going to focus because of the glass, but you can see I put the lid on. And then I'll add a little string to it, and there we go. There's a rainbow pride one. Yeah, I love these things. They're so cute. I love them so much. So this is the booth setup. It looks, I think, pretty good. Prints, the ancestor cards, stickers. I'm putting labels on cards, pronoun pins, greeting cards. Got all the pride flags over here. really looks great. And then we've got house portrait stuff, my baubles. Love how this little sign turned out. It's so cute. We got zines, lots of zines. And the community project. It's pretty empty in here right now.
Our opening for early bird shopping at the holiday market.
I feel like the handbag could be good for like beating contestants out of the way with. So we're waiting to go into the convention center, which is up there, to drive in through the loading dock to pack everything back into the car. The bridges are pretty at least. Apparently we are going back and forth to be able to get up there. We did not have to do this on the way in, but we all came in stages, whereas on the way out, we're all doing it at once. Okay, we made it back around. Obviously I did not film that. It's December 8th. We've got a little while till our next market, and the next one is going to be very much just a whatever I have left from the handmade arcade market. I am not going to make anything, I don't think. I really didn't sell out of anything. I did sell out of Ace Pride flags. I think I might make one of those to have, but other than that, I'm gonna just focus on recouping this week. I'm not working my other job today, so it's just this. I've got some tasks I need to do today. I need to go to the bank to drop off the cash and get more change. I need to go to the post office and mail 2 orders. Remind me, I'll turn the printer on. I have one from last week that I need to ship, and then I have an Etsy order that I got during the Handmade Arcade on Saturday, actually, that I need to mail. And then I have to go to the grocery store and just get a few random things, and I have a few car tasks I need to do. They're all online, though. I ideally shouldn't have to go anywhere. I might have to call somebody, though. Ugh. Yeah, that's where we're at. Finger update, it's healing as well as can be expected given how badly I hurt it. We took the bandage off Saturday night and I was able to sleep with it naked, you know, with nothing on it to let it breathe. There's no sign of infection yet. I'm still taking my antibiotic. Hopefully there won't be any sign of infection. I don't know why I said yet. What else? I did end up accidentally whacking it on the corner of the frame of the cupboard last night, so we decided that during the day I'm going to keep it wrapped up, not because it's bleeding or oozing or anything, but, well, for one thing it looks gross, but like not even just a plain band-aid. We want a little cushion on there, and by we I mean me and my girlfriend, who listened to me bellowing in pain from barely bumping the cupboard, but you know, there's a bunch of raw nerves there essentially. So yeah, it's doing well. It looks worse than it is at this point, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it is pretty bad, but it's healing. It's not actively bleeding, which is great. We had, what was it? Between 2 days, it was 13 hours, I think, of shopping. So there's that. And then I'm going to pack the orders. This is the one from last week. This is my Subtle Top Surgery Scars card. This one is blank, but there's also a version that says on the inside, congrats on yeeting your teats. They wanted a blank version. And then we've got this one, which is based on the Gavle Yule Goat, or Yuleboken, I think is how it's said. I probably butchered the pronunciation, but I'll read you. There's a little information on what the Gavle Goat is. It says, the Gavle Goat is a Christmas display erected each year in central Gavle, Sweden. There is an illicit component to this tradition where individuals try their darndest to light the goat on fire, which stems back to their Scandinavian pagan rituals celebrating Yule. One recent success ended with the goat being lit via flaming arrow that was launched from outside the reach of security cameras. And then on the inside of this one it says, hope your Yule is lit, and it has a little flaming arrow. That's the 2 orders that I have, so I'm going to pack those up and take them to the post office. I'm going to go to the bank. I need to figure out, that's the other thing I need to figure out. I already pulled out the extra bills. I have about $250 cash that I need to deposit, so I'm going to do that, but I need to figure out, I need 18 ones. Lovely. This canister holds my change. It's meant to go into a car cup holder, but since it's really heavy and it sits on one side, it tends to make things fall. I'm going to need, I think quarters. I also need pennies, but they're not making pennies anymore, so I guess I won't be getting pennies, and I have to figure out how that's going to affect my prices. Because all of my prices are on the dollar except for including tax, which is 7 cents per dollar. And then for fives, I don't think we need any fives. We need 110. We don't need any 20s. All right. So we need a roll of quarters, which is $10. We need 18 ones, and we need 110, which is $10. We need $38. So I will deposit the cash and then ask for a roll of quarters, 18 ones, and 110. And then I'll use the rest of this piece of paper to make my... It's not really a grocery list because none of it's food, but I am going to the grocery store, so make my list. Yeah, I'm gonna open up Etsy and print out my label. And while I do that, I can talk to you a little bit about the market. I did not film nearly as much as I was hoping to, or would have liked to, but that's okay. I did have a really good time. The person who was helping me, my assistant, was my friend, and we had an excellent time. They're very good at doing, you know, like running a booth and all of that. So they did an excellent job with all of that. They had great ideas for like how to display things that I wouldn't have thought of. And we had a good time, and I'm glad that it went as well as it did. Obviously, it would have been nice if I made more sales, but I'm still completely satisfied. Oh, I'll have to show you. I did, one of my friends, Rita, who owns a business called Ex Libris Fibers, was there. And she was actually the only person I bought anything from, other than like I bought food. She was the only person I bought anything from. I bought a skein of yarn. I'll either insert a picture or I'll show you later. But I love her yarn. It's all pretty much all book themed. There are a few that aren't. Like she had some there that was based on like the full moon, and it was really pretty, and that was the other one that I was thinking about getting. I was fully intending to get that one, but I just kept coming back to the House of Leaves yarn. And I think the other thing I'm going to try to do today is clean. I don't know how much of my office you can see, but it is a right state, as they say. Oh, I also need to replace the windshield wipers on the car. That's one of my other tasks today. You helping? Oh yeah, you're definitely helping. Silliest boy. Yeah. I thought I would finish off this vlog with a little bit of a conclusion. We are fully into the holiday season now. Oop, there's the boy. Thought he might join us. It's not quite the solstice yet, it's the 19th. It's not quite Christmas either, obviously. Hanukkah's in full swing though, so you know, like I said, we're really into it. I am wearing my shirt that I got from a Secret Santa. I don't know if you can see it. It's got possums screaming at the moon on it. I love it. I'm also wearing my Yule log Bouche de Noël earrings that I also love, that I like to wear for Yule and like the lead up to Yule and the solstice. But like I said, I wanted to do some sort of wrap up. I didn't want to just kind of end it with the last market last weekend. I'm really happy with how that market went. So when I got to the market, it was a little bit of a rough day. When we got there, we realized we were missing a bunch of stuff. Thankfully, I was able to go home and get all the things. We were missing stickers, we were missing pride flags, we were missing ancestor cards, we were missing some zines, and ornaments. So we were missing a lot of things that we really needed that we would normally sell. So I came home, got all those things. I think I was also missing business cards, and I grabbed those. I'd be like, not everybody wants to see your butt. Can you sit down? So my girlfriend set up my table while I was going home to get those things, and she did a great job. It looked really good. It was such a small space compared to what I'm normally in, so we had to get kind of creative with that, and I feel like we did. I think we did a good job. My Square reader decided it wasn't working. I think it updated, and there was something where it just would not... It was connected, like in app it said it was connected, but you couldn't actually use it, so I don't know what happened there. Because I use the Square Reader app. Don't scratch my chair. I use it through the Squarespace website, which has always worked before, but yeah. So I took only Venmo or cash. So, you know, I was worried that might kind of affect sales. It didn't. There wasn't anybody that was like, oh, I don't have Venmo or cash, or I'm not willing to pay in one of those ways. It was right before a big snowstorm, so we weren't sure who would show up or even if we'd be able to have the market the whole time, but we did. It did start snowing while the market was going on, but it didn't get really gross until we were getting ready to leave. I feel comfortable driving in bad weather. It's actually one of the only times I feel comfortable. I just can lock in and do it, but I hate driving in general. So it went fine. Made $140 or so. Very proud of that turnout for having less space, it being a smaller market, and the weather and all of that. I feel like it went really well. I thought that I would give you some statistics in case you're interested, and I am going to preface this by saying these statistics are rather rough. It's all just gross. I didn't take out any of the like fee payments or sales tax or anything like that. I didn't figure that into my calculation. I just wanted it to be super simple and easy, but I thought y'all might be interested in how much I made over the holiday season, as well as the breakdown between cash, credit card, or Venmo. So for my first market, I made $318. We're rounding to the nearest dollar. I feel like that was really great for a market in January, a Christmas market in January at a new location, but it went really well. And I had about $70 cash, $140 in Venmo, and $130 credit cards. And then the Handmade Arcade, over the 2 days, I wasn't able to get data separating the credit card for the 2 days, but I had $245 in cash, $290 in Venmo, and $593 in credit card, and I made around $1,240 vaguely. I'm not going to bother doing the math right now. And then with the market on the 13th, there was no credit card. Oh, ow! He's sharp. I used my foot as like a landing pad. Anyways, what are you doing? Hey. So on the 13th, there was no credit card because the reader wasn't working. We had $66 in cash and $82 Venmo, which is $148, I think. I did my math right. Or is it 100? Yeah, $148. That's, like I said, pretty respectable. So then overall for the month, we had $380 cash, $427 Venmo, and $723 credit card. So then percentage-wise, 25% of payments were cash, 28% of payments were Venmo, and 47% were credit card. And then I did the adding up, and that's about $1,530 over the holiday period this year for 3 markets. So I feel like that, you know, it went well. That was a really successful, at least for me, market. I know some people would probably feel like that's not a lot. It's, you know, maybe not worth it, but I had other orders as well. Like I had online orders and stuff. So that wasn't my only source of income